Welcome to From Center Ice, the podcast. This is Courtney.
I'm Jacqueline.
It's our birthday week or anniversary week or 1 year week.
Whatever you want to call it.
Whatever
Yeah,
you want
it's
to
been
call
a year. A whole freaking year.
We've been doing this thing for a year now.
That's crazy.
It is. We started draft night.
It like, on one hand, it feels like it's been so much longer than a year just because this is routine now.
Yeah.
This is just what we do. But on the other hand, it's like, damn, it's already been a year?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like, I can't believe it's been a year, like you said, but
Right.
we've had to talk about so much nonsense over the course of this year.
Right.
Yeah.
We got 44 episodes in a year, which is not quite weekly, but it's been a weird fucking year. So
Yeah.
I give us some slack.
Yeah, we only missed it by a couple.
Just a couple.
And we've been hockeyless since March, so...
Exactly. So we're just making it up as we go along, man.
Yeah, so you can't really blame us there.
No, absolutely not.
Have you learned anything in the past year of podcasting?
I don't think I hate listening to my voice quite as much, which
Okay.
is good.
That's
I still think I'm
great.
annoying,
Oh,
but but I'm bearable at least.
all right, so you've gotten used to it.
Yeah, I just really can't wait till we get our studio set up. We have everything for it. It's just, pandemic and all that.
Yeah, that's a thing.
But we have everything. Like, our
I know.
quality is gonna go up so much once we actually get it implemented.
I know. It's gonna be so much nicer.
I can't wait, and I can't wait to see you. Like, we
I
need
know.
to. I haven't freaking seen you in months. Like,
It's been months.
I just want to come over.
I don't think we've gone months without seeing each other in like 5 years since I was in
No,
college.
exactly. Not since you moved home.
That's just crazy.
When was the last time I saw you? When you came over to pick up the hockey cards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was at like the beginning of all of this because that was before face masks.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Yeah, and I still haven't sorted them. I got the hockey card curse that was bestowed upon you once you took them.
Uh-huh.
Because, like, you took them because you're like, I want to sort hockey cards. So we're
Hell
like,
yeah.
all right, move all the cards from my house to your house. And you did it a little bit. You actually
I got
did
them.
a lot, but...
I got them all sorted, at least sorted. What am
Okay,
I talking about? I got them sorted by the first letter at least.
Yeah.
Which it's a big step.
It is.
It's really
you have a lot.
It gets a lot more tedious after that, though. So I didn't quite make it that far.
Yeah.
But I realized that we left one box here, which I did tell you about. But
That's right. Yeah, and then I was so determined. I was like, I really want to sort hockey cards. So then I drove all the way to your house. We packed them all up in the car. I got them here, and then the motivation left. It was gone.
I completely understand. They've been at my house for like 2-3 years now.
Yep. Oh my gosh. I've also, let's see, over the past year, I've learned that the NHL makes terrible lists in the summer.
Oh my God, they really do. It's so bad.
So bad. And I guess it was reinforced how many terrible decisions people around the league make.
Oh, you mean because we have to talk about every single one of them?
Yeah, that's part of it. And it was just like
that's a good way to learn it.
Exaggerated exponentially this season for some reason.
For some reason, it's just been such a weird year, dude, like on all accounts.
Yeah, it really has. But we've made it a year. It's a milestone.
It did. It was our rookie year. And,
It was.
I think we did all right.
I think we did. It's kind of funny because as soon as we can like record in person again, we're gonna go from Skype recordings to like studio recordings.
Hell yeah. Oh my God, I'm so hyped. I can't wait.
I know. Oh, it's gonna be so much nicer.
Yes. I hate Skype
I do
so
too.
much.
I
It's
hate
not
it too.
good.
No, it is not ideal. That's for sure.
Not at all.
No. So I tried to be organized for this one and put together some notes.
Okay.
And then I decided to wait on some of the heavier topics that I had, mostly just for more data points, because there will be
Okay.
more time, obviously, until our next episode. It'll be at least 2 weeks since you're going on vacation next week.
Yeah.
So I want to give it some time to form my opinion here and what I have to say. So we will
All
start with
right.
the news of the day, which was that the 2020 Hall of Fame class was announced.
Yes.
Did you see who all made it in?
I glanced briefly. All I know off the top of my no, I know three off. But there's four total, right?
No, there's six.
Oh, well, I can tell you three of them.
Okay. So
I don't know who the other three are.
Ken Holland made it in as a builder. So
Okay.
longtime GM of the Detroit Red Wings, now of the Edmonton Oilers, I
Okay.
believe. And then Jerome McGinley, first ballot Hall of Famer
That's
there.
one of them. That's
Kevin
one
Lowe,
that I knew. Okay.
Kim St. Pierre, who was a goaltender,
Sure.
Doug Wilson, who is the
Yep.
GM of the San Jose Sharks,
Shen Haji Sharks.
and also a former Blackhawk. And then one of the best Chicago Blackhawks of all time, Marian Hossa,
I
made it
miss him
in.
so much.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Like, when it was announced that it was possible, I was like, they really can't fuck this up, right? They have to put him in the first year.
You would think.
But then I was like, oh no, it's the NHL and they fuck everything up all the time.
Well, that's their model.
Yeah, so I was still nervous going into the announcement today, but I was pretty sure he was gonna make it, but you just never know.
It felt like a lock, but again, like you said,
Yeah.
you never know.
So then I went and took a look at his stats, and it's kind of annoying because he's listed under the Coyotes roster since technically he was traded there,
I don't like that.
but he's still in a Blackhawks jersey and his like banner image is with the Blackhawks.
You know.
So he's
Well,
he retired a Blackhawk. That's it.
absolutely. He never even dressed for the Coyotes.
No. So he was drafted 12th overall in 1997.
Oh God, I was 5.
I was 4 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. He played 1,309 games,
That's a lot.
had 1,134 points,
That's also a
so
lot.
nearly a point per game. He had
Jesus.
525 goals,
Mm.
609 assists, and over his career, he was a plus 245.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's technically been with 6 teams with an asterisk because he never suited up for Arizona.
Uh-huh.
So he was drafted by Ottawa. He went to um, Atlanta. He was on the Thrashers, and then he was with. Oh, I know the two teams, but I always get them out of order. Pittsburgh won in '09, so he was with Pittsburgh, and then he was with Detroit, and he made the
Okay.
Cup final in both of those seasons, and they played each other both times, and then came to the Blackhawks and won 3 Stanley Cups.
So he came to the Hawks in
2010.
09,
Yeah.
10? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And if that's not the best free agent pickup of all time, I don't know.
Honestly, honestly, dude's a legend. Like,
Yeah. So
wow.
he didn't even play the majority of his career with the Blackhawks, but that's definitely what he's going to be most known for.
Oh yeah.
And he was my first jersey. was a Hossa jersey.
Aw, look at you.
My first Blackhawks shirt was a number 81. And now he is in the Hall of Fame to be inducted this November. They set tentative dates, so we'll see when they actually have their Hall of Fame weekend or whatever. So that's
All right.
just very exciting. And I'm happy about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It really sucks not seeing him on the ice anymore.
It does.
Especially watching the old games that NBC Chicago has been showing from the cup runs, and you're like, ah, there goes.
Hossa.
Because not even most. Most of the guys from 2015 are still playing in the league. But
Yeah.
then you see him, and it's just so unfortunate how he was forced out by a skin condition being irritated by his equipment.
I want to see somebody. Yeah. You never want to see somebody be forced into retirement by a health issue.
Right. Especially
Like,
one that's so, I don't want to say ridiculous, but ridiculous, you know?
well, yeah. I mean, he was still godly when he played his last season. Like,
Yeah, so I
he.
I actually took a look at that. His last season was 2016-17. He
Okay.
played 73 games, had 26 goals,
See?
19 assists for 45 points.
Dude was still amazing.
And that was
Like,
with
he
a bad
wasn't.
Blackhawks team. So,
Right. And he wasn't done. Like, he
no,
had so much more in him. Sucks.
it does. Maybe the Coyotes would have gone on to do good things if they had Hossa in their lineup.
Oh, the poor Yotes.
I know. But he's officially a Hall of Famer. I just wonder how many of their players from that Blackhawks core are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers.
There's gotta be a ton of them, right?
Like, Patrick Kane's an obvious lock.
Obviously.
You would assume Duncan Keith
Mm-hmm.
and maybe Taves. I would say if any are going to be first balloters, it would be those three.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know who else would make it into the Hall, really. Like, they all should, but that's coming from a super biased opinion.
Yeah.
But they can't just, well, they could. It would make everybody crazy. Just, they all, like, mass retire, and it's just every year's Blackhawks just down the board.
Oh my God, as if the league, like, as if fan bases around the league don't already hate us
Right?
enough.
Oh, it would be so beautiful, though. That
Oh man, perfect.
would be so amazing. Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. But yeah, so congrats to the 2020 Hall of Fame class.
Absolutely. Well deserved.
Yeah, hopefully we get to see them like on the ice. I don't know how that's going to work since Host is technically a Coyote, but I don't think they'd be like, no, you can't go to a home game in Chicago because you're still on our roster. That would be ridiculous.
But I wouldn't put him past or put it past him. I don't know. He's technically a coyote. I mean,
Technically, but I wonder what Pronger did because Pronger's, I believe his contract was also with the Coyotes when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame while working with the league, while still being on a roster because he didn't retire, but he did. Oh, fucking
what a
NHL. Tag for
mess.
capture bullshit is so stupid. These contracts were legal when they were signed,
What a absolute mess.
and then
Right.
they were like, no, they're actually illegal, but you're not grandfathered in. So if they retire, you're screwed. Even though we approved these contracts to be signed.
Yep.
It's a mess.
Messy, messy, messy.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, but that's the NHL. And I think that's actually that wasn't intentional, but it's pretty much the perfect segue.
Okay.
So, I have some of the return to play news. Let's see, let me scroll and find it here. Because I have to scroll through everything else. Okay, so I'm just going to read these in the order that they were announced in. So, June 11th, from the NHL public release Twitter, they released a statement. NHL, NHLPA agree on opening date for formal training camps. The NHL and NHLPA announced today that formal training camps, Phase 3, for the 24 teams resuming play will open on Friday, July 10th, providing that medical and safety conditions allow, and the parties have reached an overall agreement on resuming play. So they still haven't reached an agreement yet on dates to restart play.
No, they have not.
The length of training camp and therefore the start date for formal resumption of play, Phase 4, will be determined at a future date. You know, when they come to a agreement on whether they're even going to do this or not.
Right, yeah. Set in stone at all.
No. So then we get to June 18th, and there was good news. So this is from the Columbus Blue Jackets Twitter account, and says, per GM Jarmo Kekalainen, the Blue Jackets have activated defenseman Seth Jones and Dean Kukin from injured reserve. So once play returns, if it does, if they agree on it, at least Columbus will have Seth Jones back. And they will be playing the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this is a series I want to see so badly, so I just really hope they can make it happen. Because... Go ahead.
Is that actual, is that the play-in round or the first round? The play-in round?
The play-in round, yep.
Gotcha.
Because we all remember last season, CBJ played spoilers for Tampa and swept them in the first round.
Granted, will never get old.
They did lose Panarin, Duchesne, Bob. Who was the other guy from Ottawa? Oh, what was his name? He went to Carolina in the offseason. It doesn't really matter. But they lost, a good chunk of their roster. So I'm really interested to see if Korpisalo and goalie Elvis could put up a fight against Toronto here.
Yeah, I was looking through my time hop from the expansion draft, and I was really upset about Corpy not going to Vegas. And then I was mad that he didn't come here, and it just, I don't know. I love Corpy. I wish all the best for him always.
Yeah, because it was around that same time that the Hawks traded Panarin to Columbus. Yeah. And we read that a goalie was coming back, but didn't know at the time it was Anton Forsberg.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, can we just recall we sent Panarin and I believe Tyler Mott to Columbus for Brandon Saad and Anton.
Saad. Yep. But I think it was it a year ago today that we got Calvin DeHaan for Forsberg and Forsling? I remember seeing that this morning.
I saw it on my time hop this morning.
Same.
I was so happy. I was checking in on your cats when I read that. Because you were on vacation and I was feeding, well, it was one cat at that point. You didn't have Fred. So I was checking on...
didn't have Fred until December.
Yeah, I was checking on Charles.
Yeah, I was looking at all the pictures that you sent me. He looked so skinny and small. He wasn't a fluff butt yet.
I don't know what happened or when it happened, but now he's huge.
Well, they told me he was a 4-year-old cat when I got him. He was actually less than 9 months old. So he ended up being a freaking fluffy giant when I thought he was full grown.
Yeah.
He was not.
He was definitely not.
No. Now he's a big, fluffy, grumpy old man, even though he's only a couple months older than Freddie. And Freddie's like a toddler. I don't know, man.
That's true. I mean, to be fair to Charles, I also feel like a fluffy, grumpy old man when I read hockey news these days.
Super same. Oh my God.
That news was from June 18th, and then we move on to June 19th, okay?
Okay.
And we have Sir Bob Mackenzie on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a Twitter thread going, and it starts out, "It's my understanding one NHL club has had to temporarily close its training facilities during Phase 2 because multiple players and some staff have tested positive for COVID-19. I believe it's 3 players and 2 staff tested positive. Remaining players and staff are being tested. If no further positive tests, expectation is training facility will reopen. Phase 2 will continue. If there are further positive tests, well, we will see what happens. The team in question is the Tampa Bay Lightning." And then he goes on to say, "One thing to note, when numbers of positive tests are cited, they sometimes change after the fact. In some instances, an initial positive test comes back negative on a follow-up test. So it's possible the 5 positives could end up as 4 here. Like, ooh, whoop-de-fucking-do. Goes from 5 to 4.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then he said, "The inherent exposure of the strictly voluntary..." Hi, Freddie. "Of the strictly voluntary Phase 2 is that the players aren't locked down from the public in any way. And with case counts in Florida and Arizona skyrocketing of late, it should come as no surprise if NHL players in those hotspots will test positive. Don't know the to be determined terms and conditions of Phase 3 and 4, but they would presumably be much more protective of the players and staff. Phase 4 will likely be fully locked down bubble environment. Also, as the NHL ramps up the frequency of testing, which I understand is happening and will continue to go up, there are bound to be some more positive tests." What was
I
your first
mean,
reaction to that?
why are the players not already being locked down? Like,
Right.
how do they expect to go into this with no positive cases if the guys are just out and about, just like regular people? Like, they are regular
Right.
people, but I mean, how can they expect them to come back and play the rest of the season when there's
Exactly.
such a great exposure and they're supposed to be entering these bubble cities? But like,
Yeah. Like
you're you're on yourself. Go ahead.
they knew that they were coming back. Like you said, why weren't they quarantining for 2 weeks already?
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. So now we
None.
get further proof that NHL players mostly have rocks for brains. And you're expecting these people to leave their family for months and be quarantined between like a hotel, a practice rink, and a playing rink,
Mhm.
and just expect that to go off without a hitch. Like, no. But
That's not realistic whatsoever.
no, not at all. So I have the statement from Julian Brisebois, the GM of the Lightning. He
Mhm.
said, "We have learned that 3 players and additional staff members have tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. Those players have been self-isolating following CDC protocols and are asymptomatic other than a few cases of low-grade fever. Those who have been in contact with these individuals have been notified. The Lightning continue testing and are strictly following all NHL and government procedures as part of the league's Phase 2 guidelines. Upon receiving positive tests yesterday, team training facilities were immediately closed, with all players and staff being sent home. Those facilities will remain temporarily shut down until we can ensure a safe environment. The Lightning are steadfast in doing all we can to ensure the health and safety of our players, staff, fans, and the community. With the significant rise in cases in the city of Tampa, Hillsborough County, and the state of Florida, we are imploring everyone in the Bay Area, especially young people, to help slow the spread of this pandemic by diligently following the recommendations of government officials by wearing a mask, practicing social distancing, and continuing to wash their hands regularly. We need to work together as a community to slow the spread."
In a perfect world, yeah, that would work. But, people don't really like to cooperate.
No, they don't listen, especially in Florida, apparently. So
Yep.
that was the least surprising news out of everything, was that this came out of fucking Florida.
Oh, yeah, I could have called that a mile away. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
clearly, Florida's just been an open state for how long now? Like they're not
Pretty
taking
much
it
this whole
seriously at
time.
all. Right. Yeah,
Like
they
they
barely had
technically had
lockdown at
shelter
all.
in place, I think. Maybe
I don't
not
know.
even a shelter in place, but I know they at least shut down the salons because my sister couldn't get her hair done. And she went to Georgia to do it, to
Oh
which I
my god.
scolded her for, but I mean, I don't understand how the team, like, you guys need to stay out of the public if you're planning on coming back and playing.
You would think that would be pretty common sense. Like
Right.
you
Because
can't
if you
go
come,
into this perfect bubble utopia of hockey players like already having been exposed. You gotta stay to yourself, guys.
right,
Like
because if you go into the bubble world with the virus, then the whole bubble's gonna get the fucking virus, and that just defeats the purpose of everything.
100%.
But this is the NHL we're talking about here.
It is.
And let's see, that was on the 19th. So this was the same day. Chris Johnston tweeted, the NHL says that 11 players have tested positive for COVID-19 during Phase 2 workouts. That's out of a pool of more than 200 players who have been tested multiple times. That's still too many. That means
That's
more
way
than
too
just these guys
many.
on Tampa.
Well, yeah, and you know how fast that shit can spread?
Right.
Like it doesn't matter if you've got 2 players or 15. Like you still they come into contact with somebody else. It's a spider web effect.
Yeah.
Like
And these guys are playing hockey. Like they're breathing on each other and
mm,
sweating all over the place and spitting on the ice and then falling on the ice on their
ugh,
teammates' spit. Like,
that's disgusting.
right. Like I can see how some sports can come back. Like you have racing, like NASCAR and Formula One, because
Right.
like they're just in their cars, and yeah, you have like the pit crew and whatnot. But like football and hockey, when these guys are constantly running into each other, like face to face.
Hmm. Right. Did you
I
see the helmet that they proposed for football?
Oh God, no.
There's no way. Like it's supposed to be fog resistant and everything, but you know how hard it would be to breathe like while you're doing high intensity like
You would.
exercise
It's like
and
sticking a fishbowl on your head and going to play football.
exactly it doesn't work. I don't know how they're planning on it, but anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to shoot
No,
off
you're
into a
fine. It's just, it's ridiculous. I don't understand. If there was, they just need to call the season. Start
yeah,
fresh.
we've been saying that from the jump.
Yeah, you don't need to award a 2020 Stanley Cup. Wait until 21.
That's been my point since the beginning of all this. There's no uh, it mm,
Right, it's happened before. If you're so into
exactly.
the reserve preserving the traditions of hockey, it wasn't awarded before because I believe an illness. Was it the
Yeah, it was.
Spanish flu or something?
Yeah, yep, it was the
Yeah.
Spanish flu.
So like this isn't new. There's a precedent for it, and
Right.
yet you still want to get out there
Hmm.
while players are actively being tested positive for COVID. Like it doesn't make sense.
None at all. And I don't. I just don't get the players even wanting to go back. Like
Right.
I, I can't see it from any angle how it's beneficial to anyone
Right.
besides the owners for financial reasons to go back and play out the rest of the season.
Exactly. On that note, I have a quote from an anonymous veteran in the Western Conference.
Oh, I've seen this.
Yeah. He said, guys are not happy. This is why we better have a full player vote and not just an executive board vote. In my opinion, no way we play. I just
Oh.
want to know so bad who it was.
Mm-hmm.
Just the
Because I want to
nosy part
support
of
the
me.
fuck out of them.
Yes. I just want to know so bad. And then we had,
Mm-hmm.
let's see. Patrick Kane said a few things on June 11th. He said, we'd be ecstatic to come back and play hockey and help grow the game and gain more fans. People are starving for sports. We would love to be able to give that to them, but we want it to be fair. And then he said the NHL is throwing out these dates, and as players, we're taking a step back and saying, why is the NHL putting out these dates when we haven't agreed to anything yet? I love playing the game, but you want it to be fair for everyone involved.
Yeah. Well, if we're going fairness, the Hawks shouldn't be anywhere near the playoffs.
I mean, there's that. There is that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I just.
I don't get it. So
Mm.
we had that news on the 19th that 11 players so far have tested positive for COVID. 3 days later,
Mm-hmm.
we have Chris Johnston again tweeting, effective tomorrow, which would have been yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, Effective tomorrow, the NHL will allow Phase 2 groups to be expanded to 12 players for on-ice sessions. Those had been limited to 6 skaters apiece since small group workouts began in team facilities on June 8th.
What kind of logic are they using to expedite this process when there are players actively testing positive?
Right. It's not like they can say, oh, we've had no new cases, we've been testing
Right.
regularly, this is great, now we'll expand. Nope, we have players actively testing positive, and we're expanding from 6 to 12. We're doubling the amount of people who can be on the ice at a time.
How? What? What? How did they come to the conclusion that this was an okay thing to do?
Right. That's like 2 full lines because you have 6 players apiece. Now they have
Right.
12. They can do an actual scrimmage and breathe and sweat and spit all over each other. I don't get it.
What are they doing?
I don't know. And at least in Chicago, let's see, who have we seen? Patrick Kane's there. Malcolm Subban's there.
Mhm.
DeBrinket's there. I think,
Taves is in Arizona,
yeah, Taves is in Arizona, like climbing
which
mountains.
is
Shit.
yeah, which is one of the worst states for most amount of cases. Like,
Right. Hopefully
get the
he's
fuck
just
out of
like
Arizona.
staying out in the wilderness like he tends to do during
Yeah, up
his
at the
tour.
top of mountains and shit.
Yeah, yeah. I think Strom has been there. Philip Kurashev, I saw a picture of. He was there.
Okay.
Um, I heard that Boquist was on his way back. I don't know if he is here yet or has been on the ice yet.
Do
And
you
then
know? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Alex Nylander, I believe, has also been out there. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, do you know if Colin stayed in Chicago? Like, did they have to be here? Or or were they in California?
I don't know.
Hmm. Me
I
either.
don't know. But it's not surprising to me that both him and Corey haven't been on the ice yet because they have new babies. Like,
Right. There's a lot at risk here.
yeah. So thankfully we haven't heard anything out of Chicago yet. But again, like they're not releasing all the names,
Right.
which I'm very I go back and forth on it. Like I'm sure they're telling their teammates and the staff like who has it and whatnot.
I hope so.
But like what if you've come into contact with the player out in public, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. I get that it's like a privacy violation to say who has it, but at the same time, if they're not locked down,
Right. No, I see what you're saying. I don't think the public needs to know, but the players should definitely be aware.
yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me with um how big of a situation it is that they're still being so strict about the privacy, which I do understand, like on the
Right.
privacy side of it, but I don't know. I keep going back and forth. It's
No, I
like an
get it.
endless argument in my brain.
Hmm.
Because like it was leaked that one of the bigger players in the league has it, and everybody flipped the fuck out.
Well, because did he really need to release the name like that?
Right. And was it even confirmed? Like, we never heard if it was
I,
confirmed or not.
I don't know.
If we did, I would say it, but
Right.
it wasn't even confirmed, and it was one guy reporting
Yeah.
who has kind of a reputation of being a shithead around the league. So I don't know. When it's things like if it comes from the team itself or like the player's agent, then fine. But if it comes from some random journalist out there, like that's trashy.
That's just it. Like if the player themselves releases it or authorizes the release, that's perfectly fine. Like if they're coming
Right.
out themselves and saying, "Yes, I have tested positive. I'm now quarantining, whatever. Like
Yeah.
I'm recovering, I'm getting better, blah blah blah." But just some random journalist
Yeah.
no, that's
It's not
gross.
okay. It's yucky. It's very
Super.
yucky. So hopefully it was a fake account, but if it wasn't, like you're a shithead and you're gonna be
Right.
remembered as one. So
Hope so.
yeah. And then there was news about player contracts, at least for like European players. Their contracts were set
Okay.
to expire on June 30th, and they were extended to October 30th due to visa issues. And it's not part of a larger agreement, which I'm guessing they added that in there. So it's like the playoffs don't necessarily have to be done by then. That's just what they're extended to. I'm guessing if they go longer, obviously the visas will be pushed out longer. Um, and then
I would
to
hope so.
yeah, we're down to 6 cities being considered as the hub or the hubs. I guess there's probably going to be 2. We're down to Chicago, Vegas, LA, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Toronto for the final 6.
I'm not surprised by any of those, I don't think.
Right. I
I
feel like
don't
Vegas
know.
just kind of
I'm
makes
so not a
sense.
fan of any of this.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't happening at all. I think
Oh,
Vegas
like it's
makes
built for that.
yeah, because they have the ice rink and then they have tons of hotels, but they also opened up fairly early. So they'd have to like shut down a whole hotel or 2, however many they need for the teams there for a few weeks
Right.
to deep clean it before moving all of these players in or whatnot.
Either way, this is a huge deal. Like it's not simple at all
No.
for a city to become a hub. Like I don't know how they're gonna do it at
Yeah,
all.
they really need to decide soon how many they're going to have and where they're going to be. And
Right.
then if the Players Association and the league actually agree to a date, then they need to shut down those hotels like now.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, it's madness. I know Edmonton was making a pretty big push. They had like deals with the local golf courses and restaurants and hotels and stuff.
Hmm.
So I know they're making a big push for it. Um, Chicago doesn't make much sense, even though it's a big city, because the United Center is kind of in the middle of nowhere. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
I feel like some of these other places have a better proximity to the uh, ice surfaces with their hotels. But again, it's a big city. You
Mm-hmm.
have so many hotels at your disposal to choose from and endless restaurants that I'm sure would love to get a secure deal with the NHL to be like the one caterer
Right.
for the
Yeah.
league. I'm kind of surprised that it's not just set in stone to be Vegas and Toronto.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah, it would make most sense, like marketing wise, location wise, just all of it. Because you
Yeah.
have like hockey worlds up in Toronto. What Montreal thinks they're the capital of the hockey world, but it's Toronto. And then you have the absolute madness that is Las Vegas. So
I just can't imagine any ice being a good surface
right.
in the summertime, but like Vegas isn't a desert, bro. Like it's
Yeah,
100 degrees there.
it is. In
Like
Chicago,
I know
like
Toronto gets hot too, but
Yes, Chicago, like, notoriously has bad ice at the UC, so I don't know why they would even be considering that. I think Edmonton has some of the best ice in the league, so you'd think maybe they'd be a front runner. I'm not sure of the quality in Vegas or LA, but again,
I don't
LA is like
know.
fucking hot as shit. So,
Well, there's that. But like, I think we've talked about it before. I don't know if it was on the podcast or not, but resurfacing that ice during these playoffs or whatever, only being in two different buildings, there's no way it's gonna be good quality like
right.
in any amount of time. Like it's not
Yeah.
gonna start out good because it's already summer, and it's just gonna get worse from there because you're resurfacing the same ice. It doesn't stay great. Like there's so many games that are gonna have to be played on the same ice.
And on the same day, like they're gonna have to have like 3 games a day.
Right.
It's crazy. Like
Crazy
it'll be
talk.
great for us as fans. We'll have hockey from like dawn till dusk on TV. It'll be amazing if they could make this work. But logistically,
if
it's a nightmare.
if that happens, I'm moving in with you, and we're just
Yeah,
watching hockey all day, every day.
absolutely. I'll just lock you in a room for 2 weeks and then I'll let you out.
All right, just bring me food once a day. I'll be fine.
Yeah. I'll put like one of those jail things on the
Yeah,
door so I can open it and slide it through
slide it.
there.
I'll bring my cats. It'll be fine.
Yes. Perfect.
Just put me in the master bedroom.
There you
Got a
go.
bathroom. That's all
Yeah.
I need.
Got a bathroom. Perfect. I still want to know how they came up with a 24 team play in. Like why 24? Why is that what you came up with?
It's less than 25. It's
Right, and that's an
more
odd
than
number, so you
23.
can't have that.
Well, you know.
Like,
I
so
don't
there's
know, man.
31 teams in the league.
Correct.
Why not go,
Are you about to propose some logic here?
well, sort of,
Okay,
but
go
like
ahead.
sane logic, which is already NHL, so why not go with a 30 team play in and then
Ooh.
give Detroit the first
I
overall pick? Because
was
they
gonna
suck
say
so
just
bad.
leave Detroit. Just leave Detroit in the
You don't
dust.
even have to try. You were that bad. Just take Alex Lafreniere and we'll see you
They're
next year.
so bad. So bad.
But they were so bad.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. They were
oh,
so bad.
yeah. It makes sense in my brain. Like they
I
want
mean,
so bad to get this revenue from bringing hockey back. Just
give
bring
everybody
all
a
of them
chance.
back except for Detroit. They
Except
just they get a few months to recoup and
do something.
do something, figure themselves out, and draft Lafreniere and come back in 21.
Right.
I have cats hissing in the background now. Hey!
Who is it?
I don't know. It's baby causing trouble.
Well, typically.
Stop it. Stop. And then he just comes walking out looking at me like I didn't do anything.
It wasn't me.
Idiot. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's the return to play. Oh, I didn't have it. Let's see, I didn't have it in my little notes document here, but Tampa reopened their facilities. I think it was like today or yesterday. I don't remember what day it was.
Okay, they didn't shut down for very, very long.
Nope.
What
Sure
the
didn't.
hell?
Sure didn't.
I don't understand.
They had
What are
positive cases.
they doing?
Yep. Yep. Don't know. I
They
don't.
just shut it down for like 4 hours. All right, whatever.
Yep. The Ice Hogs
Florida's
finally
gonna
posted
Florida.
something for Pride.
Yes, they did.
There was that.
Hmm Did they only do that because the Hawks did today?
Probably. It seemed like every team did today, even though
Did
it's
they?
like what, June 24th? Like, what took
Yeah,
you so long?
it's
Why today?
I don't know.
They
It's not
really
like
have something about the number 24, don't they?
they might.
Like the 24 team play in June 24th, we decide to start celebrating Pride Month. Like,
I guess only 3 weeks too late.
yeah.
But there were other things going on at the time,
I
so I
mean,
guess
there
that makes sense.
were, to be fair, but like we said last time we recorded, the Ice Hogs hadn't posted anything about that, so they could have posted something about Pride Month.
That's true. That's true. They did not make a statement ever.
No, they still haven't.
I think at this point it would be kind of fruitless, even though obviously Black Lives Matter every day. It doesn't
Right.
stop because the media stopped reporting it, but like
Exactly.
I
You
don't
want to know
know, it
something
would
even
just
more
be extra
frustrating?
empty. What?
Let's see, let me find it. One moment. All right, on June 19th,
Okay, Friday.
also known as Juneteenth,
Mm-hmm.
there was a statement released
By
by a team.
18.
I'm going to read it to you.
Oh, okay. I'm like, okay, team said something.
End of the podcast. We'll see y'all next week.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah. All right. So June 19th, Juneteenth, there was a statement released saying, Juneteenth's origin occurred June 19th, 1865, when news finally reached Galveston, Texas, that the Civil War was over and all slaves were freed. A general holding a proclamation declared an absolute equality of rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. To help celebrate this holiday, let's continue to strive for absolute equality.
Was it Dallas?
Nope.
No. Was it? I don't know who was it? Who said this?
Are you ready for this?
I'm not sure.
The Chicago Wolves.
Oh.
Yep.
I thought you were gonna say the Hawks because I
Oh,
was
no, they
thinking
weren't on
NHL.
top
I was
of
like,
that
I
shit
don't
at
remember
all.
seeing that.
No, no.
But the Wolves?
The Chicago Wolves.
All right. I mean, good for that. They're very active on Twitter.
They are.
I guess being involved as much as they are makes sense for them to say something. Because they made a did they make a Black Lives Matter statement?
They did the Blackout Tuesday thing.
All right.
I don't
Huh.
know if they said anything else, but this came up on my feed while I was scrolling on Twitter. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Let me go check our team because I didn't see anything, but maybe I just missed the notification. Nope. Nope.
Right. Nah. Okay. Good for Chicago. Have they solidified that Chicago is going to be Carolina's team? Like, has that been verified?
I don't know. Let's see. Carolina Hurricanes affiliate.
TBD.
It still says the Charlotte Checkers, but
No,
like,
no, no. That got terminated.
all right, here's the Hurricane. It's even on their official website. It still says the Charlotte Checkers. So no, it hasn't been.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it's just because it hasn't been verified who it's gonna be, so they're just leaving it. You can't not have an affiliate.
Yeah. So who was it rumored that the Checkers were going to go to? Was it Florida?
Yes.
Okay. Florida Panthers. Still says Springfield, but there's the Blues. Okay.
Uh-huh. So go to the
St.
Blues.
Louis Blues
Follow the trail. Follow the trail.
affiliate. Okay, so yeah, The St. Louis Blues say they're affiliated with Springfield.
So both teams say Springfield right now?
Yes.
Okay. So it hasn't been confirmed that Shaw's going to Florida?
Nope.
What the hell? They need to get on that.
They really do. I don't know
still
what
don't
they're
think it
doing.
makes any sense whatsoever to not have Charlotte be Carolina's affiliate, but you know.
No. They're right there. Like
Yeah, there's a cloud outside that looks exactly like a Hitachi magic wand right now. Can you see it?
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry. I was just sitting here and it's just floating past my window. I'm like, wow.
On my 2020 bingo card, I did not have that.
It's throwing a lot of wild cards out, man.
It sure has. Oh gosh. But to end this episode on a positive note.
Oh, I'm not gonna come through like a chain and ruin it this time.
I mean, there's still time.
There is. We're not done. We haven't signed off.
No.
Give me a chance.
Exactly. So on June 10th, Colin Delia and his girlfriend Ava had their baby.
Yes.
Anderson Laurent Delia.
That's adorable. Baby goalie.
Baby goalie. I'm so happy for them.
Me too.
And then in other dad news, Steve Dangle is a dad.
Out of nowhere.
Like, what?
He just hid the whole pregnancy. Oh my god, he's so cute though.
I can't believe that man kept a secret for 9 months.
Right? Oh my god.
Like,
Congrats, Daddy Dangle though. Like,
I know.
wow.
Like, I saw the tweets start coming in last night, and I saw a gif of him holding up a baby,
Heart.
and I literally thought it was a doll. Like, I didn't know what was going on.
So did I.
Yeah, and then I
Even
saw
in
his
the video, I was like, that's not a real baby.
yeah, and then I saw his video, and I was like, that still looks like a doll, but like he's saying it's his baby. He has a baby. His name is Leo.
Little Leo Dangle.
Leo Dangle Glenn. I was so happy for him. The video is so cute.
Yes, I can't wait for the next episode.
They uploaded it today.
Did they? I'll have to listen to that while I'm packing tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to it as soon as we sign off here.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's super happy news to end on, is two guys having their first kids.
Yes, and I don't have any bad news to ruin the episode with. So
Oh, God bless.
yeah.
So that being said, give us a rating on iTunes for ending on a positive note this time.
Hell yeah, we deserve it.
Yeah, we do. Preferably 5 stars, but you know, whatever you feel in your gut, we'll take it.
Wow.
And then you can follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Let's see. It's From Center Ice Pod on Instagram and VF Center Ice Pod on Twitter. Am I right?
Correct. You got it. Oh.
Look at me go.
Look at you go.
Crazy. So yeah, follow us on Twitter at VF Center Ice Pod or Instagram at From Center Ice Pod. Subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Yeah, because we deserve it for being around for a year.
Heck yeah, we do. And then hopefully the next hockey that we get to cover is more uplifting than this past season was, but we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. But we won't take this down a dark road, so we will wrap this up here, and we will catch y'all next time. Bye!